Most people moving to Vacaville find it the same way. They're priced out of the Bay Area, someone mentions it at work, they Google it, and suddenly they're driving out on 80 thinking, wait, this is actually beautiful, and it is. But there are a few things those Google results won't tell you, so I'm going to. I've helped move-up buyers and families relocate to Solano County for years, and I notice there are always the same 5 or 6 things that genuinely surprise people once they get here. Some in a great way, some that are just worth knowing before you sign anything. So that's what this is. No fluff, no sales pitch, just the real picture of what it's like to actually live here. So let's get started with the question I get more than any other. What is the commute actually like? Here's the honest picture. Vacaville sits right on Highway 80. Fairfield is your neighbor. You're talking 15 to 20 minutes. Sacramento is about 45 minutes east, maybe an hour, which a lot of people don't factor in. If your job is in the capital, this is genuinely one of the best positioned cities in the region. For Bay Area commuters, Berkeley runs about an hour on a good day, closer to 90 when traffic is doing what Bay Area traffic does. But here's the thing nobody mentions. A huge number of Vacaville residents don't commute daily anymore. Remote and hybrid work completely changed the math on the city. When you're going in 2 or 3 days a week instead of 5, even a 90-minute drive becomes very manageable, especially when you're trading it for a 3-bedroom home with a backyard instead of a 700 square foot apartment. And if you do commute regularly, the Capital Corridor train runs through Vacaville. People use it more than you'd think. So commute, real, but workable. So let's talk about the number that actually makes people move here. I want to give you a real number, not a vague. It's more affordable than San Francisco. Solano County consistently carries the lowest medium home price of any Bay Area county. In 2025, Vacaville was hovering in the mid 500s to low 600s. That stat is same today. In Marin County, that same money gets you a condo. The gap is not small, it's significant. And for move-up buyers who've built equity anywhere else in the Bay Area, that gap is your opportunity. What Vacaville gives you for that price point: space, real square footage, a garage, a yard, a neighborhood where your kids can actually play outside. For move-up buyers especially, this is where the equity conversation gets interesting. If you've owned in the Bay Area for a few years, you may have more purchasing power here than you realize. And that equity you've built could take you from starter home to forever home in just one move. That's the smart play a lot of my clients don't even consider until we start running the numbers together. Okay, so this is where I want to go beyond the data. Vacaville has a feel that's hard to get from a Zillow listing. It's peaceful, genuinely peaceful, but you're never truly far from anything. Nugget Market, my favorite, Target, great restaurants, and the outlets, they're all here. And if you haven't been to Nugget yet, that alone might seal the deal. Can we go together? And it's not purely suburban either. Vacaville has several beautiful rural neighborhoods, and the agricultural community here is something people genuinely love once they find it. The local produce alone, I'm serious, will ruin you for grocery store tomatoes forever. There are farms and orchards and a real connection to the land that you just don't get in most California cities this close to a freeway. The people tend to be grounded. We've got a lot of families, a significant military community because of Travis Air Force Base just a few miles away, and increasingly professionals who made a very deliberate choice to opt out of Bay Area density without opting out of Bay Area careers. The one thing that might actually surprise you, how quickly it starts to feel like home. But there are things that do catch people off guard, and here's what I would want you to know. So a few honest things nobody's putting in their highlight reels. First, the summers are hot. Vacaville sits in a valley. July and August regularly hit the high 90s, and sometimes we'll sit in the hundreds for a week. If you're coming from coastal California, that is quite an adjustment. The upside is you get real seasons. We do get some colder winters, stunning springs, and wait for fall. Second, insurance. Northern California wildfire risk is real, and insurance costs have gone up meaningfully across Solano County. This isn't a reason not to buy, but it's a number you need to factor in before you sign those closing papers. A good lender and a good agent will walk you through it. Third, it's growing, and that's actually really exciting. Vacaville is not a secret anymore. New developments are coming in across the city, and some of them are worth knowing about. Lagoon Valley is one I'm genuinely enthusiastic about. There are several builders out there with a thoughtful community plan that's still in development, which means buyers who get in now are ahead of the curve. There are also newer builds on the southeast side of town, and here's something worth knowing. Before you sign anything out there, the train runs right along that corridor, and it's not a deal breaker for everyone. Some people love the convenience, but it's exactly the kind of thing a good local agent should tell you before you fall in love with a floor plan out there. Quick note specifically for anyone PCSing to Travis Air Force Base, this city was built for you. Most of the base housing wait lists are long. The smart move for military families is buying in Vacaville. You're 10 minutes from the gate in a community that genuinely respects military service and building equity instead of paying your housing into a rental. I work with military families specifically on this, and there are VA loan strategies that make buying here more accessible than most people realize. Drop a comment below if you want me to do a full video just on that. I read every single comment. If any of this is resonating and you want to know what your specific budget could get you in Vacaville right now, my contact info is in the description. No pressure, no pitch, just a real conversation. On schools, the Travis Unified School District covers most of Vacaville. The schools are solid, not the highest ranked in California, but genuinely good with involved communities, highly coveted. And because the city is relatively compact, you're rarely driving 20 minutes to school pickup. For families, the quality of life here is really what lands when people visit in person. Parks, Little League, hiking trails that actually look like something. It's the kind of place where neighbors know each other. So let me be direct about who Vacaville is and isn't the right fit for. If you're a move-up buyer who's built equity and wants to maximize what that equity buys you, yes, Vacaville is one of the best places in Northern California right now. If you're downsizing and want low maintenance living, a sense of community, and wine country proximity without Napa prices, yes. If you love the idea of a rural lifestyle with room to breathe, farm fresh everything, and a community that still feels connected, yes. If you need to be in San Francisco 5 days a week and the commute is non-negotiable, be honest with yourself. It's doable, but it's not effortless. And if you're early in the process and just exploring, keep exploring, but put Vacaville on your short list. A lot of people tell me they wish they'd come here sooner. I'm Kate Schwass, your Vacaville realtor, and if this gave you a clearer picture of what life actually looks like here, that's exactly what I made it for. I've put together a few free resources in the description, whether you want to know what your current home is worth, you're just starting your search, or if you're a move-up buyer ready to run the numbers, there's something there exactly where you are right now. So grab what fits. Drop a comment below and tell me what brought you to Vacaville. I read every single one, and your question might just become my next video. And if you're ready to have a real conversation about what's possible for your situation, let's talk. My info is down below. Let's figure out your smart move. I'll see you in the next one.